Since we've been informed that we won't be able to implement the Viaduct project as we thought because of the bid coming at twice the cost that we budgeted, I would invite to have a work session and discuss the possibility of approaching it in an open thinking way where, because we have an underpass that cost us $1.7 million, considering to make a 10 feet wide path on the east side of the viaduct and make it nice with only one path, keeping still 3 lanes in case of emergency on the viaduct, and letting people use the underpass if they want to go from one side or the other of the viaduct, rather than pursuing the 2 paths 10 feet wide each that is becoming now year number 4 that we're discussing this matter. So that was an invitation to eventually consider re-looking at the project, given that we are at this point.
Have we already paid for all the engineering and design for everything on the viaduct improvement?
Yeah, we have.
Okay, so just going back to the drawing board right now, what's your take on that?
To redesign the project with a path on one side, redo the drawings and rebid. I mean, we're already going to rebid, so I'd estimate probably $10,000 or so.
Okay, out of a total budget of
about 700.
Okay, so that's not a big number compared to the overall cost.
No, it's not a big number, but if we're going to make a change in scope that drastic, I think we would have to go back to the public. I mean, we used a design from the downtown master plan, which went through a pretty extensive public process. And so, you know, the last update to the public was that we're following that design. So I think to change it, we'd at least want to go back to a council work session to discuss it.
Okay, and then just refresh my memory about once we have 2 10-foot pedestrian paths, one on either side, do we still have room for 3 lanes to get across that viaduct?
We will, yeah. There's still going to be 8-foot shoulders between the 2 12-foot travel lanes. And so we will ultimately, if we eliminate the shoulders, have room for a temporary 3-lane scenario.
Okay, so
I mean, it would take, you know, law enforcement and, you know, emergency services and temporary traffic control, but in any scenario where we're doing an evacuation, that's obviously going to be in place.
those people would all be there anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and it would likely be 2 southbound lanes and 1 eastbound emergency only lane, because we're not going to let the traveling public, 1 northbound emergency only lane.
Okay, thanks, Greg. Giuseppe, I'm not totally against it. I just don't know. This whole thing has turned into a giant mess, like a couple of things that we've been involved in recently in my time up here. And some of it's, you know, not all of it's our fault. I like you think that I think we could do a better design, but I think we have a design that the people want, and that's been vetted, and I think we should just stick with that.
Right.